Hi, I'm Denise Smith from Smith Physical Therapy and Running Academy, and this week we're going to be talking about the role of technique training and how that can improve your performance and help reduce the risk of injuries. Last week we talked about how shoes can't necessarily fix problems in your form. If you've been deemed an overpronator or an oversupinator, you have to ask yourself the question of why is that happening? So are you needing a motion-controlled shoe because of an issue higher up in the chain, like at your hip or your knee, or is there an actual foot deformity? And so today we're going to be talking about how understanding technique flaws that can occur can lead to injuries or decreased performance, and then some tips on how to fix those problems. Next time you're out, just watch people run by you, and you'll start seeing variations in form and some similarities. You're going to see some people that look really, really good, and some people that you think, oh, that must hurt a little bit. The most common error that you're going to see is when someone's landing ahead of their body. So this is where the foot makes contact with the ground ahead of the hip or ahead of the body. And if you drop a plumb line down, you can visualize just how far ahead of the body that foot might be. If you do this, you may end up with issues like plantar fasciitis, ankle sprains, Achilles tendonitis, knee pain, or hip pain. The next most common issue that you're going to see is delaying the pull of the foot off the ground. Some people try to push off the ground, and you can cause some serious and chronic issues to the IT band, muscle belly of the hamstring, the insertion of the hamstring, or even the hip flexors on the front of their body. And what this will look like when the person starts running is you'll see this whipping out of the foot, and a lot of shoe manufacturers will try to convince you that this issue is a result of not having stable enough shoes, but really the issue is coming from the hip. So you'll see that foot whip out and then swing back around. And so again, usually it's an issue at the hip and not necessarily the foot. If we turn to a front view, this is what it'll look like from the front where that foot whips around. Finally, the third most common technique flaw that we see is poor body position. So runners may be either too upright, they may be leaning backwards, or the most common one that we'll see is that they're bending at the waist. They're coming forward. They're trying to do this as an attempt to increase their speed, but it can result in things like low back pain, piriformis issues, buttock pain, or even other hamstring issues. What we'd really like to see is that the entire body comes forward like they're falling like a tree. Obviously, I find it beneficial to work with a technique coach, either locally or virtually. But if you can't, I wanted to give you 3 tips that you can try at home to help address some of the issues that you may see and how to fix those. Tip number 1 is to film yourself to learn how to move. Make sure that you can see your head and feet in the video, and you film yourself from the back, the front, and the side. And then what you can do is slow the video down and just watch it to see how you're moving. Tip number 2, use the drills as a way to retrain your brain and your body on the correct way to move. There's some key elements that you need to make sure get addressed in your form in order to help your performance and reduce the risk of your injury. So that would be learning how to pull your foot up off the ground and get into the running pose, as well as how to get your body weight forward so that you're falling forward, which is where speed comes from. Later on in the series, we'll talk about how these drills can be used as your warm-up. But for right now, let's focus on which drills we recommend as the most efficient, quick to do, and easy to learn. Start out by doing the drill in place and focus on how it feels so you can learn how to move better. You can even stop in the middle of the drill to assess things like pain, landing position, balance, and control. Once you become more comfortable with the drill in place, then begin to move forward for about 20 to 30 meters. And then you can follow it with a short run. If you're in your neighborhood, you're doing mailboxes, you can go from mailbox to mailbox. So here are a few of our favorite drills. And finally, tip number 3 on how to improve your technique would be to add strengthening to your routine. Now, later on in the series, we'll talk about how to efficiently strength train, but for right now, I want you to understand the why of strength training. Our bodies have to absorb 2 to 3 times our body weight when we're running, and you want to prepare your muscles and your joints to be able to absorb the impact that happens with running, that extra weight. So the best way to do that is to add strengthening. And again, we'll address that later on in the series, but for right now, I want you to make sure that you start thinking about adding some strength training. If you don't want to wait till the video comes out, go ahead and give us a call and we'll help you get that started. So thanks for joining us this week. As always, if you have any questions, please send us a message, give us a call, shoot us an email, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and our website is smithptrun.com. We'll see you next time.